Oh,
Okay, now.
hi, beauties. I'm C.
I'm Sarah.
Welcome back to Beyond the Truth podcast, where we will discuss solved and unsolved cases of missing persons, murders, abductions, serial killers, and all things true crime. Tonight, let's get into the case of the Highway of Tears. Welcome back, everybody. Like I said, um, Peach is not here with us. I'm not sure what happened, so it will just be me and Sarah tonight
And that's kind of why we're
covering.
late.
Yeah, so that's why we were a bit late. We were waiting on her, so our apologies for that.
Hi, BJ. Oh, BJ's here.
Oh, hi. Todd is here. Oh, BJ,
What's up?
hi.
What's up?
How are you?
Oh, good, good.
What you
Yeah.
doing?
Oh, not much. Just got home.
Oh, good.
Oh, I had to go over to a friend of mine's house.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
BJ, have you ever heard of this case?
No, I'm not even quite sure what case we're on.
It's called the Highway of Tears. I remember hearing about it a few years back. But there really honestly hasn't been much media coverage about it, to be honest. And it especially given the fact it's been over like such a long period of time and it's still current, I'm surprised there's not a lot more noise being made over it.
Yeah, so many years, so many decades. Okay.
Bye, BJ.
Bye. Okay, so I'm going to start getting into this case, Highway of Tears. The Highway of Tears is a 725-kilometer, better known as a 450-mile section of Highway 16, also known as Yellowhead Highway, between Prince George and Prince Rupert in British Columbia, Canada, which has been the location of many missing and murdered Indigenous women. These murders began in 1970 and are still occurring today. The victims are assumed to be between 18 and 83 cases. We will only be discussing 18 out of these victims. In 2005, the RCMP launched a provisionally funded project called EPANA, which started with a focus on some of the unsolved murders and disappearances of young women along Highway 16. This is the story of those 18 women. The highway received its name from Florence Niziel during a vigil, who was thinking of the victims' families crying over their loved ones, hence the name Highway of Tears. There is a disproportionately high number of Indigenous women on the list of victims. 10 out of the 18 women are Indigenous. A possible explanation for the years-long endurance of the crimes and the limited progress includes a high-risk lifestyle such as poverty, drug abuse, widespread domestic violence, disconnection with traditional culture, and disruption of family unit through broken families, the foster care system, and Canadian Indian residential education system. Poverty in particular leads to low rates of car ownership and mobility. Thus, hitchhiking is often the only way for many to travel vast distances to see family or to go to work, school, or seek medical treatment, etc.
So, accounts vary as to the exact number of these victims. According to the RCMP, Project EPANA lists the number of victims as fewer than 18. EPANA includes a large proportion of victims that are not related to the Highway of Tears. However, Aboriginal organizations estimate that the number of missing and murdered women ranges above 40. Officially, 40 different cases have been linked to the Highway of Tears spanning multiple decades from 1969 to 2006, but the numbers are higher. So one of the victims, did you want to talk about the youngest one first?
Yes. The youngest victim in these 18 cases is Monica Jack. She was only 12 years old. So I'm going to go into a little bit about her. She was 12 years of age. She was in 7th grade and one of 6 children. Monica did well in school, had a lot of friends, was said to have had a bubbly and bright personality. Monica grew up outside of Merritt in the Quilchena Reserve. Monica had gifted a new bike from her father. It was an early birthday gift, and she wanted to ride it to Merritt to get her sister a birthday gift. She was permitted to bike the 30-kilometer journey as long as her cousins were with her and she was home by sundown. Monica was the youngest victim of the Highway of Tears. She disappeared in 1978 while riding her bike. Monica was murdered near Merritt in May of 1978. Her remains were found in 1995. The RCMP later charged Gary Hanlon as her killer. Monica Jack's murder becomes the first file in Project EPANA to officially be solved with full court proceedings and sentence. Gary Hanlon had been out on bail when he abducted her. He was a known predator, but at the time, RCMP did not think they had enough evidence to dig deeper despite his vehicle matching a witness description of a suspicious vehicle being in that area. So that pretty much sums it up for Monica. Very sad. She was such a young girl.
So do you want me to talk about Gary Hanlon a little bit, or do you
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, before we get into the other
a little bit about Gary Hanlon. He had a long history of sexually assaulting women and girls. I don't know if you guys have heard of it before, but we have an undercover sting operation that we use here. It's called Mr. Big. It's probably used in the States too, to be honest. Anyways, Hanlon was one of the criminals that were targeted during one of these undercover sting operations. And it began in November 2013 in Minden, Ontario. I'm not even sure where Minden is. I'm in around the Toronto area, and I've never heard of Minden. But Ontario is a really big place. So anyways, he was living what do I have written down here? Oh, he was living in Minden at the time, and he ran for about a year. His confessions occurred on November 13th, 2014, after he's informed that following a deep background check ran on him, the crime boss, identified as Agent A in court documents, wanted to meet up with him and ask Hanlon about him being on the police's radar for murder. Hanlon initially said he knew nothing about the murder, but Agent A informed him that DNA samples that police had obtained from the remains in 1995 was a match with Hanlon's. Do you know if that would happen to be Monica's case that was in 1995?
Monica, hold on.
Anyways, she can come back to that.
Yes.
Okay, so it was Monica's remains that they took DNA from. In his confession, Hanlon states that he grabbed Monica Jack from the highway, threw her bike into Nicola Lake, put her in the bathroom of his camper, and drove up a hill where he sexually assaulted and strangled her before burning clothes and part of her body and then placing her body behind a log. In January of 2019, after a 45-day trial, the jury deliberated for 2.5 days. Hanlon was charged with first-degree murder. He was given life in prison and is eligible for parole in 15 years through the so-called faint hope clause because he had killed Monica Jack before this law had been eliminated. Now, a little bit about the Faint Hope Clause. This offers Canadian inmates serving life sentence, or had offered, this isn't, we don't have this anymore, but it offered inmates serving a life sentence for murder or high treason the possibility to apply to have his or her parole inadmissibility date reviewed after serving at least 15 years, which I think is wrong. 15 years for taking someone's life is too short.
Absolutely. And then, are we going to talk about Mr. Big a little bit?
I think I kind of explained it when I was talking about it, but it's a covert investigation procedure used by undercover police to elicit confessions from suspects in cold cases is what I have written down.
Okay. So I'm going to go into the other, because we're only getting into a few of these girls because this is a very extensive case, so we can't go in too deep. But I'm going to start with Colleen McMillan. She was 16 years old. Colleen told her little brother that she was going out with friends. She told her brother, "Don't tell mom, but I'm hitchhiking." And she walked away. This would be the last time anyone had seen Colleen. Her body was found 1 month later, 30 miles from the family home. When her body was discovered, her blouse was also found. Upon DNA testing, it would be found to have DNA on it. At the time, DNA testing could only determine that it belonged to an unknown male. It would not be tested again until 2007 when DNA testing had advanced, at which time they found it belonged to Bobby Fowler. The discovery was made following his death in 2006. She was last seen alive and was murdered near Lac La Hache in August of 1974. So this guy, let me tell you a little bit about this guy because there's two other cases that he was suspected of with these, in these 18 cases.
This guy was a piece of work.
Yeah.
They all are, but this guy was especially.
Mm-hmm. He was, and he suspected in 20 others, but the fact that he died, but Bobby Jack Fowler was a Texas native who worked as a roofer in Prince George. He was born June 23rd of 1939. He died May 15th of 2006 in Oregon State Penitentiary due to lung cancer. He had one confirmed murder victim, which was Colleen, that I just read, named Colleen McMillan, and Pamela Darlington and Gail Moyes are two of 20 other suspected murder victims of Bobby Jack Fowler. Bobby was convicted of rape, kidnapping, and attempted rape, and he was sentenced to 16 years and 3 months with the possibility of parole. The span of his crimes were from 1969 to 1995. So this guy was really an awful person. And I'll go into Gail Ann Moyes and Pamela Darlington. Gail Ann Moyes was 19 years old. She was a wholesome girl who taught Girl Guides and was not into drugs. Gail left the service station where she worked in Clearwater at approximately 9:30 p.m. that night to hitchhike back to her parents' house in Kamloops. Her nude, decomposed body was found nearly a year later. She was murdered near Clearwater in October of 1973. Her remains were found April of 1974. The RCMP suspected Bobby Jack Fowler in her death, but no conclusive evidence existed to convict him. So she was a suspected victim that he killed. The next suspected victim was Pamela Darlington. She was 19 years old. Pamela was last seen at the David Thompson pub in the company of a man with messy blonde hair. Her body was found the next day by Frank Allman Sr. and his son Frank, who spotted her body at the edge of their property where it bordered Pioneer Park. She was murdered in Kamloops, November of 1973, and her remains were also located in November of 1973. Bobby Jack Fowler was also suspected to have been involved in her murder, but again, no conclusive evidence existed to convict him. So by this time, when he had that the police came to the realization that he was a suspect, he had already died in prison of lung cancer. So unfortunately, he couldn't be brought to justice for these girls.
So I think what I'm going to do right now is I am going to pop up on the screen some of these 18 victims. We've got some pictures of them for you guys. And I will... Is that showing C as the picture, or is it the application still?
I see a whole bunch of pictures. All the
Okay,
pictures.
I don't want that one. Okay. Bear with me. We're still learning.
Yes, thank you.
Share screen. Application window. And this is the one I want. Okay. Share.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, see, and I can't see my notes right now. So did you want to talk a little bit about why people think that these cases aren't getting as much media attention as they should?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, into racism?
Yeah.
Okay. Some argue that the lack of results arising from this investigation is the result of systematic racism. Activists argue that media coverage of these cases has been minimal, and activists say that the media assigns a lesser value to Aboriginal women. We have seen this to be true in other cases involving minorities as well. Nicole Hoare, a Caucasian woman who disappeared in 2002, received a disproportionate amount of media attention at the time of her disappearance. Hers was the first of the Highway of Tears cases to be covered in Globe and Mail, Vancouver Sun, and Edmonton Journal. Had these women have been of another race, culture, would their murders have gained more traction and media attention? Would their cases have been properly and extensively investigated until the murders were solved and killers arrested? I personally believe so, due to the fact previously mentioned. The problem of systematic racism in these cases is explored in Finding Dawn, a 2006 documentary film, and it includes a section on the Highway of Tears victim, Ramona Wilson. Ramona Wilson was the first victim of the Highway of Tears. Often overlooked in reports on the Highway of Tears is the fact that over a half of the missing women are First Nations and Indigenous women.
The indie music label said so there's multiple killers. Yeah, I think there's more than just the 3 that they've discovered.
Yeah, because it's such a long stretch of highways. You get a lot of truckers, so, and a lot of traffic, period. And they describe this highway where the soil is very soft and it's so heavily dense that it's easy to bury bodies and hide bodies in this long stretch of highway.
Yeah, and I believe it's really, really close to the border too. So
Yeah.
if you're coming across from the States, and I'm sure it spills over from Canada into the States too, these murders along the highways in there. I don't know if you saw the one picture. I've driven out that way before, and the trees and forests are just so dense. You could walk
Yeah.
10 feet in and not be able to see out of the forest. So I think it's probably more than just a few people committing these murders. It's an opportune place to go. They've got privacy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to worry if you drag somebody, especially a hitchhiker, a few feet into the forest. You've got privacy. Nobody's gonna hear her scream or him because it's
so long and so
it's so far in between towns out there. Like you could be driving for an hour in between one town to another,
and it's not lighted at all, really. So
yeah, there's long stretches of the highway that aren't lit up. I know when we were driving out there a couple of years ago, you'd be driving at night and there was really long stretches of highway with no street lights, and they're targeting these women that are living I don't want to term it as that. I want to be very careful about what I say, because just because you live in poverty doesn't mean you're living a high risk lifestyle. But they're targeting women that are living quote unquote high risk lifestyles, and they figure either nobody's ever going to notice them missing, or nobody's going to care that they're missing. And that's what's happened to a lot of these women.
Yeah. Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I personally think that they could be doing more.
Yeah, it's become a national crisis, that highway. So they obviously need to do more, to try and prevent, because it's really sad. Like I said, one of the victims was only 12 years old. Like it's, normally back then, in the 70s, it was safe in these towns for little kids to go out and ride their bikes and for people to hitchhike. Like that was the main way of these people to get around. So the fact that, all these murders were being committed is sad, because, in these safe places, they don't feel safe anymore.
Well, another thing I noticed while we were researching these cases, a lot of these women went missing from places that were convenient to the highway. A lot of gas station, Petro-Canada, which is another gas station. But yeah, I noticed a lot of them went missing, and maybe the gas stations were along the highway.
Yeah.
But also another question that actually, as you were speaking about Bobby Fowler, so he was convicted for murders in Canada, but he was from the U.S. originally. I wonder if
he committed crimes in Canada and the U.S.
And the U.S. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wonder if the states have victims.
I read. I don't know if there's. I have to research that if there's like a certain case involving him in the U.S. But I know that they have him under. Because he was a drifter, so he would be in and out. So I'm sure.
Speak about Cody C?
Oh no, let me get into Cody Allen.
Now, I don't know that he has. No, he doesn't. So he doesn't have anything to do with well, we don't know this. But officially, he doesn't have anything to do with any of the 18 murders that they know of. He could have. But he was one of Canada's youngest serial killers. And he, talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay, so he was born January 21st, 1990. He's a Canadian serial killer convicted in 2014 in BC of murdering 3 women and 1 teenage girl between 2009 and 2010 in or near the city of Prince George, British Columbia. He is one of Canada's youngest convicted serial killers, as Sarah mentioned, and his trial drew national attention. A 15-year-old girl, Lauren Dawn Leslie, has been included in the list of missing women and girls suspected as victims in the Highway of Tears murders, approximately 20 at the time of the murders. He was approximately 20 years old at the time of the murders.
That's so young.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what went wrong. Like, and I've said this before, maybe it's because I could never fathom doing anything close to that to another person. Like, what happened in their life
that
made
drove them
that steered them so wrong. I don't know. And it's depressing reading about these women. We've got a bunch of other women.
Are you gonna put them up on the screen?
I posted their pictures, but we can talk about some of them. And all of these women are terribly young.
Yeah.
So one of them, her name was Gloria Moody. She was 27 years old, was last seen alive and found deceased the very next day in October of 1969. She was physically assaulted and raped, and her life was taken near Williams Lake.
So this was the first case that they came upon.
The second one, her name was Micheline Parray. She was 18 years old. She was last seen along Highway 29. She was murdered near Hudson's Hope, July 1970, and her remains were found in August of 1970.
And the next is Monica Angus.
She was 14 years old. She was last seen December of 1974. Her remains were found April of 1975.
The following was Maureen Moyes. She was 33 years old. She was murdered near Salmon Arm in May of 1981. Her remains were found the same year she was murdered. The next one is Shelly Ann Basco, 16 years old. She disappeared in 1983. She went missing from Hinton in May of 1983.
The next is Alberta Gail Williams. She was 24 years old, murdered near Prince Rupert in August of 1989. Her remains were found in September of 1989. There was Delphine Ann Nicol. She was 15 years old. She went missing from Smithers in June 1990, and she disappeared while hitchhiking in June of 1990.
Ramona Lisa Wilson is the next one. She was 16 years old. She was last seen alive in June of 1994. She was murdered near Smithers in June of 1994. Her remains were found in April of 1995. Roxanne Thiara. She was 15 years old, murdered near Burns Lake, in November of 1994. Her remains were found in August of 1994.
Alicia Leah Germain. She was 15 years old, murdered in Prince George of 1994. She was found, however, the source did not specify the location where her remains were discovered. Lana Patricia Derrick, 19 years old. She was a student. She went missing in October of 1995 during Thanksgiving weekend. She was reported missing 3 days after the RCMP called off the search. It was reported to the RCMP by tip that in the early morning hours of October 7th, 1995, Lana was seen at Copperside Foods, Petro-Canada, along the Highway 16 in Thornhill, BC, and that's why they called off the search. I'm not 100% sure if they have found her remains, but they called off the search because it was reported that she was seen.
Okay, the next one is Nicole Hoare, 24 years old. She went missing from Prince George in June of 2002. She was seen hitchhiking near by a gas station on her way to meet her sister in Smithers. This would be the last time she was seen. Tamara Lynn Chipman, 22 years old, last seen in September of 2005, went missing from Prince Rupert in September of 2005. And the last victim that we have is Ayla Sarri, 14 years old, murdered at Prince George, and her remains were found in February of 2006.
I wonder, they're all so young. And that was just a very small list of names.
These were only 18 cases spanning from 1969 to 2006. And of course, up to date now, they're said to be up to what we said, 83?
Yeah, so there's
victims.
60, over 60.
And maybe even more that they don't know we're missing because that stretch is so long and
yeah.
So, this is really a crisis that they have to address out in Canada.
And I was speaking to a friend actually a couple of days ago, and he said just within the last couple of months, another 3 victims has gone missing. Not specifically along that highway, but it's a big problem.
And I have a number. I don't know if we included it in the banner, but I want to give it to everyone. If anybody has information on any of these cases or on any other cases that are related to the Highway of Tears, call 1-877-543-4822.
Okay, I'm gonna post it in the chat. So, okay, does anybody want to come up on StreamYard? Because we can post the link. I'll post it now. I'll share it. If nobody wants to come up on StreamYard and discuss this a little bit, we can end the live stream and go over to C's channel for her. Can someone post... Actually, I can do it. I was going to say, can someone post C's channel? But I can do it right now. Just bear with me. So, does anybody have any topics they want to...
Oh, Peachy said sorry, guys. She just got home, so she was busy. Thank you, Peach, for the message. I just saw it now.
That's not allowed. Not allowed to be busy.
Peachy, no. Does anybody want to join us on StreamYards? Yes.
Nope.
Hi, Scotty.
Hi, Scotty.
Scotty, you're late. You missed the whole show.
That's okay. Next time.
He's shy. I know.
Here ranting and raving another day this week, so. Scotty, you're not allowed to be shy. I'm shy.
Yes, me too.
Scotty, we were waiting too. We were waiting for Peach, but Peach ended up having some stuff to do tonight, so.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post Scotty's channel and BJ's channel.
Oh, yes.
In the chat.
BJ.
Everybody go over there and show them some love. On BJ's channel, They do a whole bunch of different things. There's going to
Yes.
be challenges.
Yeah, stay tuned for that Royal Cone Challenge that he's doing. That's going to be great. I can't wait.
Oh, I think she's okay, Scotty. I think she just got busy.
She was busy.
And we're going to share Aunt's
She
channel.
messaged me. She's okay, Scotty.
I'll let her know that you said that.
Oh, and Team Smoke, please follow his channel. He supports us a great deal.
I hope she does.
Yay, she's going to win the bond.
I hope she does. She's been around a long time. I'm not saying she's old. I'm just saying that she's been supporting Jimmy's channel
for a long time. And I'm right behind her.
And I'm right behind you. Oh,
and yeah, I was going to say.
Sorry, Todd. I don't know how long you're sitting there for.
Yeah.
Hi, Todd. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I thought I was going to pop up a tent back there.
We forgot about our security, Sarah.
Where you been? We've been up live for like 5 minutes.
I know. I've been sitting here watching.
Isn't that crazy, though, how many victims there are? And we didn't even, like, scratch the surface?
Yeah. We only did 18 and did the more the ones that they had, suspected killers for.
The more that we kind of look into these cases, the more scared I am to leave my house.
Right.
Me too.
And I look at my neighbors, like give them cut eye. They don't trust them.
Never hitchhike.
Who was it? Gaskins that picked up a bunch of people hitchhiking too?
Oh, I think he did.
Was it Gaskin?
Was it?
Yeah, it was, because the next one we did was the Delphi murders.
Yeah.
So it was Gaskin that took advantage of hitchhikers. Yeah, don't ever hitchhike. Todd, don't hitchhike. I don't even care if your car breaks down. Don't hitchhike.
Todd don't do no hitchhiking.
Never.
But Todd also got his gun on his side, you know what I'm saying? So
security.
Be like Todd. Keep your gun on your side.
Somebody tried something with me, they catch at 9. Real fast.
Okay, next time I need a ride, I'm gonna call you. You can come get me and be our security guard. Keep you safe.
Yeah, you live a little too far away from me.
You still come pick me up in Canada.
My gun permit ain't active over there.
No, it's not. That's right.
Yeah, that's probably a felony. I'm not a new felony.
You can get one here, though. I know people.
Oh, yeah?
You're good.
You'll be okay.
So, what's up? What you guys been on?
Oh, not a whole much. I had to get C drinking half a bottle of vodka to get her ass up here tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed you guys kept changing the time to making it longer.
Well, we wanted to give Peach a chance because we thought maybe Peach wasn't getting her messages.
Yeah, well, first time I looked, it said you got on live in 8 minutes. Then I come back, it said you're going live in 15 minutes. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were trying to give her time,
Oh.
We're ladies. We have to be fashionably late.
Yes. To our own party.
That's right. Well, okay, I'm going to close this stream so it's not too long. We're at about 40 minutes now. I think that's good.
And
then we go party on C's channel.
Yes, okay. After party, we can discuss anything over there if you guys want to have any questions about the case. If not, we'll just chill like we always do. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And definitely make some suggestions for any other cases that you want us to do. Either in the comments or message us.
We're taking suggestions, guys. So And we're also allowing the person, once we present the case, they can come up and present it with us, right? Or if they can just talk about it, or if not, you can just give the suggestion and not be involved on the StreamYards. It's up to you.
Scotty, we're talking to you.
I hear
Scotty, Mr. Shy.
Okay. Everybody have a good night.
Good
And
night, guys.
Todd, we'll see
Thank
you over
you.
on C's channel.
you. Yeah,
I'm going live now. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
cuties. Bye.